Next up at UFC Vegas 74, we have Daniel Willie Cat Santos taking on Johnny Munoz Jr. Daniel Santos, 10-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5 years, coming off his first UFC win, and he's a big boy favorite over Johnny Munoz Jr. 12-2 overall, 3-2 in his last 5, and he is alternating wins and losses. This fight was booked, 3 events ago, something like that. It was canceled because of Daniel Santos. They said I didn't read this myself, somebody commented this, so it could be wrong, that he had a
abscess or something, right?
An abscess on his leg, yes. Now, I don't know if it was an abscess because he has an injury and there's fluid collecting that was building up, if the dude had a boil. I don't know what it was, but it was bad enough that they canceled the fight. So, to me, it's more than just like a little, skin tag. It's something real. Anyway, it has been rebooked. The line is much wider now, right? Daniel Santos was minus 170s-ish. He's ballooned up. Now that Garam is done.
You mean the opening odds? The original fight, I had a bet on Santos at minus 147 at one point.
And then what did they become before the fight was canceled?
A minus 160, minus 170? Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Now this
I didn't
time,
know the original.
Yeah.
I thought you meant the original. No, he was. They had the books. I think he opened maybe originally like minus 130 or something crazy, crazy.
And he was in my safety parlay last time he was booked. He is no longer, and I'll tell you why. Yes, Daniel Santos, a very dangerous guy. He's an old school shoot-a-box fighter. Just think Charles Oliveira, but a little smaller. Yeah, he fights exactly like him. Gets dropped in his fights, bounces right back like nothing happened. He's got solid jiu-jitsu. He's got very, very aggressive, solid striking as well. And on BJJ, he's good. He's good on top. He's good on bottom. He can make stuff happen. He can be taken down. But the problem is he is so good at BJJ, right? He is so dangerous off his back that he'll play that game. He'll lay on his back, throwing stuff up, trying to make stuff happen instead of trying to scramble back to his feet, right? He's trying to submit people off his back. That's just not something that happens. Him being taken down is what concerns me in this fight because he is taking on Johnny Munoz Jr. Johnny Munoz is also a BJJ black belt. His striking is decent. He has solid takedowns, and he throws everything with 100% intent at all times. He uses front kicks, side kicks well to manage range, and then he tries to keep his opponents at distance. His BJJ is very slick as well, and he has very high grappling fight IQ. Daniel Santos, I would say, has low grappling fight IQ. He'll hang out on his back, try to submit you. Johnny Munoz will try to advance his position, and if he's losing it, if he's about to get swept, he will completely bail on that exchange, stand up entirely, and then reset. So very high striking IQ. I type all my own notes. I do think Daniel Santos wins this fight. I'm pretty confident he wins this fight. Last time I was so confident that I had him in the safety parlay. But the fight was canceled, and that is a little bit concerning. I don't know exactly how bad it is or isn't. It could be literally nothing. It could have been a skin tag, and the doctor could have been like, nah, he can't fight with this. I don't know. But the fight was canceled. He walked away from all of that money, either on his own accord or they made him. And luckily it's been rebooked. But that's the one thing that concerns me. Daniel Santos should be able to get this done. He looked phenomenal against John Castaneda when he wasn't being dropped constantly. But he's got good pressure, very good striking. He's not going to get submitted, even though Johnny's probably the better overall grappler. So Daniel Santos should absolutely win this fight. But I'm a little less confident than I was because of the rebooking. Does the rebooking not bother you at all?
No, because I know Johnny Munoz Jr. better than most people. There's a lot of Lock of the Week connections on this card, and Johnny Munoz Jr. was a former Lock of the Week and will go down as top 2, maybe the most embarrassing lock of the week loss of all time. So I am slightly biased. I will, full transparency, tell you guys that I do have a little bit of biasy against Johnny Munoz Jr. And I absolutely love Willie Cat in this matchup because he does have that nice high Muay Thai style, and he gets in your face. And he has nonstop pressure. Angelo mentioned he can't get dropped, but when he gets dropped, it is boom, bam, back to his feet and right back to the pressure. And if there's one thing that Johnny Munoz does not like, he is good on the ground. I don't think he's got the takedowns needed in this fight because Santos is a pretty good scrambler and has his own offensive wrestling as well. But when he is striking, Johnny Munoz Jr., he wants distance. He wants range. He wants kind of lungy in and out shots, and he's not super fast when he does it, but he does kind of throw a nice little 1-2 down the pipe, fully extended, and he does not like when people are crowding him, and that's exactly what Willie Cat's going to do. And the reason Johnny Munoz Jr. was one of the most embarrassing lock of the week losses of all time was he got knocked out by a 1-inch punch from Tony Gravely. I mean, that thing was right here to here. I mean, boom, boom, completely knocks him out. He is not going to like the power that Willie Cat is gonna put on him from the very, very beginning. If Johnny Munoz Jr. has one way in my mind to win this fight, and that is get the very first takedown that he shoots and grind out for the rest of the round, because Willie Cat will fade in fights. So he's got to get that first takedown. If he doesn't, he's not going to like that pressure and the power that Willie Cat throws his way.
And that's the one thing that worries me, is that he will get a takedown and he will just ride on Daniel Santos. Because, again, I don't know what's up with his leg. But Daniel Santos should win this fight. I've come very close to putting him back into the safety parlay.
And he's also said, I mean, even before that Sexy Mexi, the John Castaneda fight, he said, I want to show off my wrestling in this fight. And I think he really did that against Sexy Mexi. So I think he's tried to clean some things up on because I do agree, he was kind of that guard game guy, but now he has turned into, like you saw Oliveira kind of transitioned. Now he's shooting offensive takedowns. Now he's, out scrambling positions. So I think they're kind of that same gradual progress there.
And this is one of the fights I mentioned. $9,200 in DraftKings. I probably will spend that on Daniel Santos. It's my real life money that worries me a little bit. It's actually the name safety parlay worries me. I do have a couple bets with Daniel Santos already. If you're a premium member, you can see those. WeOwnPicks.com. It's $10. Why are we even talking about that still?
Yeah, I mean,
just click, become a member. The safety parlay, there's a ton of pride that goes into that safety parlay, and I really, really am looking out for that. So I don't have him in that, but I do have other bets going on with Daniel Santos, and I do think the $9,200 is solid money, especially when we're going to get a massive minus 600 favorite on this card for dirt cheap. You agree with Danny in your DraftKings line?
Willie Cat, baby, all the way.
There we go. Jacob, would you call yourself a Miami meat rider?
I am Brazilian.
What is a Miami meat rider?
They're talking about the Heat game.
Oh,
saying that I'm like a fake Miami Heat
no,
fan because they won. I'm a Nuggets fan. I don't like the Miami Heat. If anything, I like I placed a bet before the playoffs started. I got the Nuggets at plus 1,000 to win it all. So that's gonna pay out, and then I don't have to do this shit anymore.
Earlier today, you're like, oh, thank God, I hate the off weeks. I love doing this shit. Now you're like, ugh, I
so
hate
good
this.
To be back.
You went out, you got a whiteboard. How many hours did you spend looking at your screen, looking at the whiteboard to see if it was positioned right?
I actually had to move my camera slightly because it does show like the full reflection. I could stream the fights and just put the fights back here and like just blur like in a blurry square so people can kind of see what's going on.
YouTube's too clever for that because somebody was doing that with a mirror and it still got shut down pretty quick.
The best one I saw was originally on Twitch when somebody just held the controller and it looked like they had the full screen of the game and they just made it look like they were playing.
That is a good idea. Oh, people.
I am a Pacers fan. Till I die, motherfuckers.
WeWantPicks.com. $10 a month. Just click become a member.